Center. My name is Krista Egger. I'm Director of Initiatives at Enterprise Community Partners and lead the Enterprise Green Communities Program. Today's webinar is the second session of a two-part webinar series with the DOE Zero Energy Ready Homes Program and Green Communities. In this program today, you'll be exposed to the Building America Solutions Center, which is a preeminent online resource library of design and construction strategies for high-performance homes. At Enterprise, we work to create opportunity for low and moderate income people through affordable housing in diverse, thriving communities. We're a national nonprofit of 35 years, and over that period of time, we've created nearly 500,000 homes, invested more than $29 billion, and touched millions of lives in the affordable housing sector. Our Enterprise Green Communities initiative was established in 2004. And in that initiative, we work to bring the benefits of green building and sustainability to the affordable housing sector. So ensuring that all homes one day in the affordable housing sector will be healthy, safe, durable, comfortable, energy efficient, and environmentally responsible. We've worked in every state of the country. Our primary program, a certification program for affordable housing to our Enterprise Green Communities criteria, has more than 100,000 units in the pipeline, and all of the various colors of blue states that you see on your screen here. And the dark blue states have financial or policy incentives for affordable housing to certify to the program. Our criteria, the Enterprise Green Communities criteria, are holistic in nature and are represented by these 8 categories. We have integrated design at the very top, then moving to location and neighborhood fabric, which is about where you're siting your property, site improvements, water conservation, energy efficiency, materials, healthy living environment, and then wrapping up with operations, maintenance, and resident engagement. So we have best practices in all 8 of these categories as part of our Enterprise Green Communities criteria. There are threshold standards for each, as well as opportunities to pursue excellence in each as well. And I'm really happy to be joined today by 2 experts really in the field of energy efficiency, as well as other aspects of high-performance homes, to share a really complementary resource to the Enterprise Green Communities program, which is the Building America Solutions Center. So really thrilled to be joined today by Sam Rashkin with DOE and Chrissy Antonopoulos with P&L. And with that intro, I'll turn it over to Sam.
Hey, thank you so much, Krista. And we'll move on to the first slide. And while that's happening, this is part 2 of the seminars for Zero Energy Ready Home. In part 1, we gave you the business case for why affordable housing industry should be, or affordable housing stakeholders should be really excited about building Zero Energy Ready homes, how incredibly aligned that product is with their mission. And we showed you the simple lift to go from the Enterprise Green Community Guidelines to move up to the Zero Energy Ready Home specifications. Today what we'd like to do is give you tools so you can actually do this successfully, and that's going to be the Building America Solutions Center. But to begin, I want to once again review the fundamental building blocks for how we get to zero. So what is zero? How do we get there is the first discussion I want to cover before I hand off to my partner in crime, Chrissy. So it all begins with this new risk reality. Codes have been moving along, and as you can see over time, the vertical axis is the energy use index. The index keeps getting lower and lower, meaning that the codes themselves are getting much more rigorous. In fact, if you look at the difference between 2006 and 2012 International Energy Conservation Code, the rigor has increased almost 40%. The codes have really gotten to the point where we're building a much, much more efficient home. And in the process, that has put us in the risk zone. And so a lot of what we're doing with the Zero Energy Ready Home specifications is addressing the risk and the opportunities to provide truly affordable housing to American homeowners. So let's look at how we address that risk. And it starts first by recognizing that this advanced enclosure, even with a code home, is much better insulated and much more airtight. So we have a diagram showing a more efficient enclosure assembly in the top, a less efficient enclosure assembly in the bottom. And if we have a warm side and cold side, heat flow goes from the more to less heat, and so we have a lot more thermal flow going through a less efficient enclosure than through a more efficient enclosure. And the result, of course, is that we now in high efficient enclosures have much colder surfaces inside the cavity on the cold side of the building. And that's only because there's so much less heat flow and airflow going through the assembly. And that's just a reality we have to live with. So that means if the building is built more efficient, it can't dry, and therefore it has no tolerance to getting wet. And so we have to address this risk of a greater wetting potential since it doesn't dry. Which brings us to risk number 2. Again, we have a lot more thermal flow going through the less efficient enclosure than the more efficient enclosure. And what that means is that we need a lot less BTUs, a much smaller BTU machine, which most of us call heating and cooling equipment. So you need a much larger comfort system for the less efficient enclosure and a much smaller comfort system for the more efficient enclosure, which needs a lot less heating or cooling BTU for comfort. And a couple things happen from this. First, there's about 40 to 50% less airflow in the more efficient enclosure because there's a lot less heating BTUs flowing into the building from the equipment. And that's an issue or a challenge because we, up to this point, are not very diligent designing heating and cooling equipment systems that move air efficiently. We don't design the ducts, we don't manage static pressures, we don't ensure proper mixing in the room, and so with that reduced airflow, that challenge is even more difficult. So we have to make sure that we address that challenge. The second challenge is based on the fact that the more efficient enclosure has a swing season that's 2 to 3 months longer than the less efficient enclosure. In other words, you may not start heating into November instead of October. You may not start cooling until the middle of June instead of the beginning of May. So you wind up with maybe 2 to 3 months where you have no space conditioning load. And the challenge there is, where's the humidity control going to come from when there's no sensible cooling load? And normally a lot of dehumidification depends on the accidental byproduct of the cooling that we're getting from a sensible load. So we have a greater risk that we're not managing relative humidity comfort in the building. So we need heating and cooling systems that address these challenges. And that brings us to the risk number 3, which is again starting with the fact that the more efficient enclosure compared to the less efficient enclosure is built much more insulation and a lot tighter, so there's a lot less airflow in the more efficient enclosure than the less efficient enclosure. And that means that we're not getting the same amount of dilution, and so we have a lot more potential to accumulate contaminants in the more efficient enclosure. And we have to manage that risk as well. And it can be code, above code. This is the new reality that we're in. And this drives a lot of what we're trying to do with the Zero Energy Ready Home specifications and what we think fundamentally creates the building blocks for how you get to zero. It's basically a risk management strategy. So most cases you're starting with code. We recommend it's not affordable to build the code. You want to build to the next code cycle that's already coming down in the future, locked in to happen. It's like building a home for a family that will be obsolete or even illegal to build in 3 or 4 years if we build to the current code and not a future code that's already in the books and more efficient. That's just not affordable to strap a low-income household with a product that will be obsolete. So we want to build to the next generation code, what we call an optimized enclosure. And generally that will have a little more air tightness, a little more insulation, a little better window, but we're optimizing the enclosure cost effectively. And that's really important in optimizing efficiency. The second thing you want to do is that leaves the total energy use with more than 50% consumption for all the things inside our home, equipment, appliances, fans, lighting, plug loads, all those things are now accounting for more than 50% of the energy use, so we need energy efficient components throughout the house. These two strategies together ensure an ultra efficient home. What a great start. Absolutely where you want to be for an affordable household. The next building block is complete comprehensive water protection to manage that risk that the building cannot dry if it gets wet. Too well insulated, too little drying potential, there's no room for mistakes. You need comprehensive water protection. The next building block is ensured comfort, a system that actually ensures airflow and mixing and humidity control during longer swing seasons, particularly in climates that get humid in the summertime. So you want an ensured comfort system, absolutely critical for affordable housing or any housing. And the third building block is a comprehensive indoor air quality package, including source control, keeping pollutants out of materials that we're using and stopping them from entering the home, dilution through a fresh air system that effectively dilutes contaminants that still can gather in the home, and finally high capture filtration, so you actually remove very, very significantly impactful particulates in the air that really account for most of the respiratory illnesses that can happen in homes. This bundle of improvements is basically our performance package that helps us manage the risks we talked about. And finally, the last building block is the home is so ultra efficient, has such low energy use, and has such good performance, it's ready to last and provide total performance, but wouldn't it be great if it can meet the future opportunity to go to zero as solar system costs keep getting lower and lower. Even for affordable households, shouldn't they have the opportunity to go to a zero energy bill? So simple low cost, no cost details and practices enable that to happen, and they comprise a zero-ready solution. These are the building blocks that we recommend for a zero energy ready home. It's basically a home to the power of zero, and our specifications, when followed and verified independently, enable everyone to be confident the home, in fact, will deliver this efficiency, performance, and zero-ready attributes. And the greater affordability outcomes will be lower utility bills, some opportunity to really significantly improve health and lower health bills for homeowners, substantially reduce maintenance over time, and to protect the family's investment, particularly in affordable households' case, that their home will meet future expectations and more likely hold its value and actually have opportunities to even appreciate at a faster rate. This is a truly affordable house everyone would want. So what does it look like in reality? Are we making this up, or are we seeing that this is happening in the marketplace? And the great news is that it's happening over and over. Thousands and thousands of homes are being built this way. Here are just a few examples from the affordable housing sector. This is a home built by Mutual Housing in Spring Lake, California, outside of Sacramento. It's a multifamily apartment complex. But again, note that the HERS index, in this case with the solar, was a HERS 21, that the average monthly utility bill was $12. Each individual owner of an apartment would save $40,000 in utility bill expenses over a 30-year mortgage. I love the quote, the day we moved in, my 7-year-old son ran inside yelling, "I love my house, I love my house." It's just so great to deliver a great living experience for all sectors of the economy, including affordable housing. Here's a Habitat for Humanity project in Grand Traverse region, Michigan. And again, these are homes that are 1,350 square feet approximately. With solar, they're scoring -1. The average monthly utility bill, I think, was $9, mostly the service charge just to be hooked up to the utility. And again, almost $40,000 saved over a 30-year mortgage. And again, this quote, I couldn't afford to pay for rent and groceries and gas before owning my zero energy ready home. What a difference for an affordable family. And finally, here's a United Way project in Long Island, New York. This is a group house for veterans where they live. So this is a very big home for a lot of different occupants in there. It's a HERS -5. And this home, because Long Island electric rates are so high and the solar system they were able to put in this was so significant, $300 saved over 30 years. You just have to ask, why are we not investing in that house when we build it so it can provide this affordability at such a high rate for the occupants? It costs less for nonprofits to own a zero energy ready home than a just to code home. This is Rick Wertheim, who's a vice president at the United Way of Long Island. So we have lots and lots of these examples, and I do not want to use up any more time except to say that look for applying zero energy ready home strategies for any type of project, single family detached, single family attached, multifamily projects up to 5 stories above grade. These are all ready to go to zero energy ready kind of performance. And before I hand off to Chrissy, some resources and next steps. If this makes sense for you, if you go to our website, there'll be opportunities for you to quickly become a partner, review our program specifications in full detail, take the tour zero and see as many homes as you'd like with all the statistics and experiences that we featured in the case studies here. There are over 24 webinars that help give you even more detailed guidance. There's a marketing toolkit, and there's a gap analysis between the enterprise green community specifications and the zero energy ready home specifications to truly clarify the simple jump to get from the enterprise green community specification to the zero energy ready home specification. And lastly, the greatest resource that maybe we have on the website will be the Building America Solution Center. This is your new best friend if you have anything to do with high performance housing. So many applications, solutions, and ways to use this tremendous resource. And my, again, partner in crime, Chrissy Antonopoulos, has just been an amazing resource for us developing this tool. I'm going to hand it off to her so she can take you through how it works.
Thank you, Sam. My name is Chrissy Antonopoulos. I'm with the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory, and I'm going to be walking you through the Building America Solution Center online resource. Let's see. Okay, so the slide you're looking at now is going to give you the URL for the site. It's basc.energy.gov. The overall objective of the website is to give you the proven performance measures that you need to take out into the field and construct these high-performance homes. It used to be that Building America research was disseminated in reports that people would have to fish through and find the content that they needed. The objective of the Solution Center is to provide continuously improved, up-to-date best practices for advanced building science measures. We focus on guides. That is the core content in the Solution Center, which I will be walking you through. We have many types of content galleries that you can use to browse content as well. We are a community-based tool, so we provide you access to provide us with feedback and to interact with the tool as well. And then there are ways that you can customize the content for your own purposes. So here's kind of a look at our stakeholder groups. We have content for a wide variety of people, whether you are a builder or renovator out in the field building and applying these measures, whether you are a rater that is working with the builders to rate a home, whether you're an educator, an architect that's involved in the design process, or a code official. We hope to provide content that is relevant to your trade. We have over 230 best practice guides for very specific building science measures in the tool. We have over 1,600 images that are available either through the guides themselves or through an image gallery. Over 330 proven performance case studies. This is all coming out of Building America and Zero Energy Ready Home case studies and research. 115 plus CAD files that you can download directly into an AutoCAD program. Building science references and resources both from within and outside of the DOE. code compliance briefs to help you overcome code barriers, videos for installation, and sales briefs to help sales teams sell high-performance homes. What you're taking a look at right now is the homepage. You can follow along with me at basc.energy.gov, or you can just follow along on the presentation and I'll walk you through some of the tools available. What you're looking at now is a guide for double stud wall framing. This is the core content of the Solution Center. Everything that we build in the Solution Center is designed to take you to one of these guides that's going to dissect and disseminate the really specific building science content. So each guide is formatted in the same way, and it's formatted with the tabs that you see across the top. Each tab provides specific content within the guide. So I'm going to walk you through those tabs and talk you through how we specify each of these. The first is called the Scope tab. It's a scope of work. It's really designed to be a succinct how to apply a measure that you could put directly into a scope document for a contractor or a builder. The second is the Description tab. This is step-by-step instructions for how to install the particular measure. We'll give you images, we'll give you links to Building America research, and step-by-step instructions as well. The Success tab will provide you with background information. It'll also provide you with health, safety, planning information, anything that you need to know before or during the process of installing the particular measure. If there are climate-specific details associated with the measure, you're going to find that on the Climate tab, where we break down what those details are and where we talk about how you would install differently in that particular instance. The Training tab is going to give you a list of right and wrong images. You can pull these up directly in the tab. You can download them. You can save them. You can bookmark them. It's also going to give you a list to presentations if they're available, and also installation videos as well. The CAD file tab is going to give you all of the CAD files associated with that measure. Again, it's kind of in a gallery format, so if you click on any one of those CAD files, it's going to open in a larger format. It's going to give you the DWG file extension if you have AutoCAD software that you want to download it directly into. It's going to also let you save a PDF of the CAD file if you just need the PDF for later reference. The Compliance tab is going to give you specific detailed information about codes, standards, and national programs such as Energy Star Zero Energy Ready Home. The Retrofit tab is going to be information for existing homes. We'll talk about this just a little bit. We started this tool with a very new home specific lens, and we have recently built out a new tool for existing homes, how to retrofit existing homes correctly. And so we have added a retrofit tab on most of our new homes guides that will tell you additional language, additional information that you need to know for retrofit applications. We do have some very specific retrofit guides as well that don't display this tab, but for every new home guide that we kind of augmented, we included this retrofit tab. The More tab is going to include DOE case studies associated with the measure. It's also going to give you access to additional references and resources. If you're interested in some more technical information, you'll find it there. And last but certainly not least is the Sales tab. The Sales tab is going to walk you through everything you need to present to your sales team for selling or for communicating the value of this particular measure. It's going to give you a very basic digestible technical description that you can use to communicate what the measure is going to enhance in the home to the home buyer or to the consumer. It's going to give you some alternate terms that you can use for explaining the measure, and then it's going to give you a sales message that's going to tell you exactly how to communicate the value of that measure to the home buyer or the homeowner. So that is the basic fundamental organization of the Building America Solution Center. I should also mention that all of this content is open source, it is free, it is available for anyone at any time to download, to bookmark, to save. You have full access to the Solution Center at all times. You don't need to register, you don't need to pay a fee. It's there, it's public information for all. So now that we've looked at the basic guide structure, I'm going to talk to you about how to find these guides based on what your needs are and what your objectives are. There's many different ways that you can search content through the Solution Center. This is kind of a snapshot of basic ways to browse. You can browse by topic, you can browse by program, you can also browse our informational and additional content galleries. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the building components. Again, this is kind of a snapshot of the home page of the tool, and I've clicked on the building components tool, which gives me all of the guides organized by topic of the home. So let's say I'm interested in wall structures here. I'm going to click walls and openings. I'm going to get another little window that pops up that allows me to further find the category that I'm interested in this case, wall structure. And then I'm going to be taken to a list of all of the Solution Center guides that are associated with the wall structure of a home. I can then access the guide from that list that I'm interested in. The second way I can browse through are via national programs. We support the four primary programs: DOE Zero Energy Ready Home Program, EPA DOE Energy Star Certified Homes, EPA Indoor Air Plus, and EPA WaterSense. So here I will go into the Zero Energy Ready Home checklist. If you are a builder building to these specifications, you can find detailed guidance for every line item in the checklist. The checklist opens and it follows, the online format follows the checklist exactly, and you can find your guides based on checklist number. So in this case, I was referred to the Energy Star Certified Homes program through Zero Energy Ready Home because the baseline Energy Star is required for that program. And I'm going to find my double wall guide this way. So back to the same guide, I just went a different route. The next tool, which is brand new as of this past fall, is the Existing Homes tool. This is a big release for the Solution Center. We have organized Existing Homes content based on the steps to home performance. So you will see here a screenshot of the Existing Homes tool. You can browse this tool based on topic or step for your project. In this case, I'm going to go into air sealing, ceilings, and attics, and I'm going to find my guide that's associated with that particular step there. The nice thing about the Existing Homes tool is that over on the upper right of the screen, you'll see this current project map. It tracks every click that you make in the tool, so you can easily go back to the step that you were on prior if you decide that you want to access a different guide or a different step.
Hey, could I just inject one thing there, Chrissy?
Please.
Could you go back to the sequence list? One of the things that's important to understand was that these steps are based on Building America research that found out that there's a really critical sequence to how you do home improvements and not just that you jump right into them. And in fact, if you looked at how traditionally American homeowners undertake improvements, they do the exact opposite of the sequence they should take. But if you look at the sequence, step number one is first make sure the house is safe and durable. You have combustion air for your appliances, basic things so you don't start messing with the house before trouble can happen. Step two is before you start tightening up the house, make sure that you have a strategy how you're going to introduce fresh air before it gets tight and have some sort of ventilation, what I call a fresh air system. Step three is before you start creating less drying potential and more wetting potential by insulating and air sealing the walls, make sure that you have moisture protection, because don't get yourself into more harm by making the home more vulnerable to water damage by insulating it. Make sure you have the water protection first. Step four is then air seal the house so that you get to all the air sealing before you cover it up with insulation, and then cover up all the cracks and holes and penetrations with insulation because now you're sealed, step five. And anytime along that sequence you can change out light bulbs or equipment or water heaters to more efficient. It doesn't matter where and when you do those upgrades. But the opposite sequence is what most people often do. They'll throw insulation in the attic as the first thing, and now how do you go and start sealing the attic? The gaps between the drywall and the top plate, penetrations, light fixtures, recessed light cans, all those things will now be covered, so now it's hard to get to them. And now maybe you're creating moisture issues and you hadn't added the moisture protection, and now the house is very tight and maybe creating health impacts, but you haven't made sure you had fresh air, and maybe you never did an assessment that had enough combustion air and other issues that you need to assess before you begin at all. So we actually go in reverse of what we need to do no harm, and this sequence for the existing homes portion of the Building America Solution Center is first and foremost to start educating practitioners, consumers, program managers, that we need to really think about the sequence before we start jumping into home improvements. And then everything builds off this sequence in terms of how you map into the taxonomy of all the different guides for existing home upgrades. So I just want to make sure, Chris, we got that point across.
Thank you, Sam. Okay, I'm going to click through these as well and move on to the next topic. So now we're back to the home page and we're looking at the sales tool part of the interface. We talked about the sales tool tab as being embedded in every Solution Center guide. We also have a separate tool where users can just browse sales messages. This is really useful for marketing teams, for sales teams, for anyone interested in kind of the value propositions and messaging associated with high-performance homes. So the sales tool is set up to allow users to customize the content. You can create fact sheets based on the Zero Energy Ready Home value propositions, which are advanced technology, engineered comfort, enhanced durability, healthful environment, quality built, and ultra efficient. These align directly with the Zero Energy Ready Home program, and we provide a tool that allows you to customize these brochures. So you can put your logo in, your company name in, your address, your contact information, and print out a PDF of each of these measures to go with your in your sales binder or with your other marketing materials. You can also take it a step further and create your own propositions. You can put in any different measure that you use in your construction or your renovation and make this list really customized to you. Again, you can put in your logo. We give you more room to put in a paragraph describing your company or describing your objectives. You can add anything you want there. You can save these in your own account. You can download them as PDFs. So this kind of breaks down the sales messages associated with each piece of content. You get the power word is kind of what we call the translation between the technical jargon and the value proposition. You get a very simple technical description, some alternate terms that you might use instead of the initial translation, and you can customize these to whoever your consumer is, and then a sales script. Again, these are available both in the tool, the sales tool themselves, as well as on the tabs of guides. Here's an example of a sales binder that you can create with all of these value propositions and messages. And not only with that, but with all of the content within the Solution Center as well. We have climate packages. We're kind of back onto the home page now, switching gears just a little bit to the climate package details. Each climate zone has its own approach to achieving, I think, 30% greater than IECC 2012. Sam, please tell me if I'm misspeaking there. But each of these packages will tell you how to achieve that based on the climate zone that you're in. Here's kind of a shot of what you'll get in each of these packages. You will also have access to the full Building America library. This is going to give you all of the technical reports, the field studies, the case studies that comes out of Building America that really supports all of the content in the Solution Center. This is all peer-reviewed content, best practice content as well. The code briefs are another newer addition that we have to the Solution Center. Code briefs are available in guides, and they also have their own filter and their own browser system. They're really designed, there's about 25 of them currently, and they're really designed to address and overcome code barriers, the common code barriers that people run into when constructing high-performance home. They will give you detailed references as to how to overcome this barrier, provide you with consistent expectations, and also give you some technical validation as well. So outside of looking at guides and finding ways to find guides, you can also kind of dissect all of the guides by our content browsers. Again, you can find code briefs. You can look specifically at Building America case studies. The image gallery is one of our most popular features. We list every image that's available in the database and give you filters for how to filter through the images, and then just allow you to save images based on whatever your interests are. You can download them directly into presentations. You can save them in field kits, and you can bookmark them for later use. One of the things that we've developed to go along with the Solution Center is a mobile application, both for Apple and Android phones, that you can use to organize your bookmarked content. So it is available on the Solution Center. It's also available through the Apple Store as well. And once you create, well, I should say two things. In order to download and utilize the mobile app, you do need to create an account. And an account is useful for many reasons. First and foremost, though, it allows you to create these field kits, which are basically binders or bookmarks, however you want to call them, and it allows you to save all of the content that you are interested in. As you can see, this is a robust database, so going back and finding things sometimes can be difficult, which means that, building these folders is a very useful tool for many people. You can save CAD files, images, guides, information guides, videos, case studies, sales messages, pretty much every type of content that we create and house in the Solution Center. You can create these guides for. So you're looking at an example field kit right now that has some guides, some CAD files, and some images. You can also create these field kits just for your sales messages, if that is your objective. You can create as many of these binders in your account as you want. You can call them anything it is that you want. You can create accounts for larger programs so you can share content between employees. And most importantly, with the Solution Center application, you can take all of this bookmark content out into the field and have access to them when you're working with your subs, when you're working with your partners, when you're working with your site supervisors. So you can access the scopes of work, for example, and show the team what the expectations are, or talk about, overcoming an issue with a code compliance. All of this stuff can be taken into the field with that mobile application. We also have a website widget that allows another website to embed a little photo of the Solution Center and a link directly to the Solution Center. And then let's talk about creating an account. Again, you don't have to create an account to use and find use out of the Solution Center, but it really does help for users who want to continue to utilize some of the best practices that are available. You can do many things with a user account. We ask for some very basic information, a username and an email address. The reason why we ask for those things is we have to have something on the back end to associate your particular content to. We do ask for a profession and a construction type and a location and climate zone. But you can create all of these field kits with a user account. You can also have access to creating all of the sales binder and sales messages associated with the sales tool. You can access your saved account from your mobile device if you also download the Solutions app, which I should mention does work with or without an internet connection. So if you're in a new development somewhere and you don't have access to internet and you don't have cellular data, you can sync your devices and have all of this information in your pocket. You can also provide feedback on all of the content. We do have links to email us directly throughout the Solution Center, but we do have a form available for registered users that pops up on the top of every guide that allows for instant feedback on that guide and on that topic. We just celebrated our 5th birthday. The Solution Center was released in January of 2013, and we have been growing ever since. We now have between 230 and 240 best practice guides, code compliance briefs, 100 videos, 1,700 photos, 1,000 technical reports, and our users are growing by the year. We have over 1 million user sessions, about 2 million page views, and somewhere around 850,000 users. So this is a valuable resource that we do want to share with you, that we hope you use and provide us with feedback on and interact with. So feel free to contact me with any questions or information. You'll see my email. You'll see Michael Beckler, our program manager's email. And then you can also email the Solution Center directly, basc@pnnl.gov. Again, our website is basc.energy.com. and my email and Sam's email. Sam, I'm going to turn it over to you. I actually went through those quicker than I thought. If there's anything that you'd like to add there.
No, I think that's a good run through. The big thing I'd like to say, though, is just to prepare you, there's a little bit of a learning curve with the Solution Center, which is why I would also suggest that you do track on the Zero Energy Ready Home website and through our announcements, the upcoming webinar will, Chrissy will actually walk you through the process of how to use the Solution Center step by step actually on the resource itself. So there always, I want to recognize places where you have to get used to it.
Absolutely.
I do want to bring up just an expectation, yeah.
I was just going to add, we do have a help section on the Solution Center where we lay out how to browse, what you can browse for, and general definitions. We are also available at any time for questions or comments. We return emails as quickly as possible to help you. So please feel free to reach out anytime.
Chrissy and Sam, thanks so much for this walkthrough. I know this tool is a repository of so much valuable information. It's great to get a high-level view of it today. I wanted to let everyone on the line know that if you do have questions that you'd like to ask now to Sam and Chrissy, go to the right side of your screen, and in the Q&A box, you'll see a text field, and you can type in your question there, and then we'll be able to read it out and get you an answer here in real time. No questions have come through yet, so I wondered, Sam or Chrissy, if there's one particular detail or building component that you really think, I don't know, if there's a highlighted building detail or component in the Solution Center that you'd like to let everyone know exists. I just wonder what you might speak to first.
Boy, there is, for me, no single one. But the thing I would mention that's most significant to me is that this is not fixed content. This is continuously improved content that will always be different probably every time you come to it. Christy and the team are always adding new guides. The Building America research teams are continually upgrading new best practices or amending the old best practices. Our community of users are providing new content or, in some cases, insights that help us improve the content or correct content. And so when we go in, we either remove what's out of date or we add to what's there that's still relevant. And the tool just keeps expanding and continuously improving. So this is the opposite of fixed content. It's always staying up to date. It's always staying relevant. And that's why it's hopefully something that you will continually keep visiting to see how to best apply what you're doing for Zero Energy Ready or any high-performance home. The other point I'll make is if you're using a program, what Christy said was really important. Each person will have their measure that's most important as opposed to being one that's most significant. So if you know your specification from your Energy Star program, Zero Ready, WaterSense, Indoor Air Plus, you can go right to the checklist and find the exact guide for that. And so for program users, it's invaluable to getting them solutions for what they have to do for that program. So it's whatever you're having trouble with is the best guide in the Solution Center.
Thanks, Sam. We have gotten a couple of questions asking how people can see this presentation again. And for everyone that registered for this event, we'll be sending a follow-up email by the end of the day this coming Monday. That includes a recording of this session. So you'll be able to listen through it again or share it with your colleagues who may not have been able to log on today. Well, while we wait for perhaps a few more questions to come in, I wonder if Sam or Chrissy, you have any kind of closing thoughts for us as we wrap up today's presentation.
Well, if I would go first, then my closing thought will again be to emphasize that people really should recognize just how substantial the amount of cost it takes to own a building is at the very front end when they make their choices. Often the cost can be $100,000, $200,000. You saw one case where it's $300,000 difference in ownership cost. By making a decision on the front end whether or not to do high performance or to do a code home or to do anything in between. And so do be aware sometimes when we're under the constraint of building affordable housing and we're trying to manage very, very tight budgets, that somehow it would be great within that mission to find the opportunity to add the improvements it takes to get to ultra-efficient, high-performance homes, whether you call it zero-energy ready or whatever you prefer to call it. But these are homes that truly optimize the living experience, the affordability, the upstream value accumulation for these families. So I truly appreciate just how much challenge everyone has in this segment of the housing industry to kind of just get the job done. But I really hope people are encouraged to maybe think ahead and try to plan how they can integrate this kind of thinking into their projects.
Thanks, Sam. Chrissy?
Well, I think I would just add to that, the Solution Center is not a design tool, nor does it provide cost information. However, it will provide the best practices associated with implementing many of these measures, which does kind of achieve an affordability goal. We also have published all of our case studies with our affordable housing partners, which are all available on the Solution Center. If you browse the case study browser, you will find those as well, and you'll be able to see exactly what other nonprofits and partners used in their package of measures.
That's great. Yeah, and one of the things that this Solution Center really brings home for me is that even though a new detail or a new construction strategy might be new for a particular design team or professional, there's a pretty good chance that someone else in the country has tried it at some point before. And I think what's just fantastic about the Solution Center is that here is the evidence, here are the how-tos about how to make that work for you in your area. So there doesn't necessarily have to be a recreating of the wheel. We can all learn and build upon the work that our colleagues are doing around the country. So.
And one more point to build on that, Krista, is that in addition to the Solution Center, on the Zero Energy Ready Home website, there's a button called Tour of Zero, and particularly for any of you who are interested in these case study type of content, the Tour of Zero basically now is over 150 homes that have been recipients of this Innovation Housing Award we do, Housing Innovation Award. And what's really useful about the Tour of Zero is the content is really digestible and very simple and easy to read. Home after home, and they're accessible by clicking on a state or a climate zone. You see case study after case study of homes that feature their HERS index scores, their annual energy costs, their savings over 30-year mortgages, the innovations that were included, the actual profiles of the projects, their fact sheets that show exactly how they were built. You have testimonial statements, often from the occupants, sometimes from the builder, and you have the actual floor plans and more detail about the home, but very, very short in text, very high on graphics and images. So in addition to the Solution Center, you should also consider the Tour of Zero a great way to access really good case studies, including many, many affordable housing projects all across the country.
Thanks, Sam. We have gotten 2 new questions in. The first one is from Billy Ponko asking a technical question. How do you add a sales worksheet topic to your collection?
Sure. So you need to be a registered user. And you can register to the Solution Center on the upper right-hand corner. You'll see in the blue bar, there's a login button or a register button. Once you are registered, you will have some additional things that pop up at the top of that blue bar. You'll have your name where you can log out, and then you'll also have a little suitcase that allows you to view or create new field kits, or you will have a little pen and paper, which is where you can view and create your sales worksheets. But until you register, you won't have those 2 options at the top.
Thanks. The next question is from James Lewis. He says, is there a way for people to identify themselves as having used the solution and provide their contact information if they're so inclined?
Absolutely. We would love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out to me. You can also reach out to, I'll give you some other emails if I can just go back. You can go to basc@pnnl.gov. You can email my project manager, Michael Beckler, as well. And we would love your feedback. We also have a kind of a content submission area if you're interested in submitting content, your content. You can, if you go to the help page, the very last piece in the help page is join the dialogue, where again you will have access to our emails. There's also a link there called content submission guidance if you would like to submit your own content, or you can just email us and we'll help you through that entire process.
Great, thanks. Well, I think that's it for the questions that have come in so far. So I think we can probably close just a couple minutes early. I want to thank Sam and Chrissy again so much for sharing this tool with us, and encourage everyone to spend a little bit of time browsing the Solution Center. And we look forward to seeing you all online again soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.